5 responses to the Kim Phalam question about reading Vedic literature by Krishna's mercy. Kathyata pit koyam sambhramo va upagat Kim Phalam kasya voddesh kain va sadhyate mak.
Quote, My dear father, I am very respectfully and humbly inquiring. What is this arrangement? Why you are busy in making some sacrificial ceremony? What is the reason, and what is the result? For whose benefit is it, and by what means will it be accomplished? Shrimad Bhagavatam 10:24-3.
The first Govardhan Puja took place as the result of a series of questions, from a child no less, directed towards the father who happened to be an important figure within the community. The child was setting up the father in a kind way, without revealing his intention. The child knew that an important function about to take place needed to be halted, at least briefly, to teach a lesson both to the beneficiary and to many others who would potentially prioritize their work in spiritual life improperly. The pause button had to be pressed for this ritualistic function. The child wanted the father to direct the preparations elsewhere, to honor Govardhan Hill, which was dear to the cows. The Kim Phalam question was already answered. Whatever fruit was to be received from the Indra Yajna would be accounted for in this new worship, which had never been conducted before. The Kim Phalam question worked because Sri Krishna knew how to appropriately respond. Whatever Nanda Maharaj and others sought to gain by worshipping Indra could be accomplished by honouring Govardhan Hill, which proved to be non-different from Krishna. The simple explanation is that devotional service, bhakti yoga, is like watering the roots of a tree of desires and rewards. There is nothing missing in the process, though the equivalence takes knowledge and experience to detect. Along these lines, a child today might pose similar questions to their father, who they see following a routine of reading sacred texts. It could be something like the Ramayana, which describes the descent and conduct of the avatara named Sri Rama. The son asked the father, Kim Phalam, as to the purpose, the routine, and the dedication. 1. I'm following as a matter of duty.
My dear son, this is the process recommended to me by the spiritual guide. The Guru opened my eyes. I was otherwise wandering through life completely blind. I was in total darkness. I believe since I had some sincerity in desiring to learn the truth, the higher authorities sent someone to me to clear my confusion. This reading process is known as Shravanam in Sanskrit. It is hearing. It is the first in the list of 9 distinct ways to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a mood of devotion. I am trying to maintain consistency in this hearing, so that is why you see me reading every single day, as if there is a standing appointment.
2. I'm following because it lifts up my spirits.
My dear son, I can honestly tell you that I always feel better after reading. There is something different to this content. It is not like anything else. Whenever I read the news, I get angry or depressed. Whenever I speak to friends or colleagues, I always hear of agitation, discomfort, fatigue, envy, and frustration. These feelings then naturally carry over to me. There are no such blemishes with this sacred literature. I'm always left feeling inspired. It is like I'm finally awake again after having slept for so long.
3. I'm following because the content is invigorating.
My dear son, it is always fresh and new. A person might object as to the length of the material. The weight of the book is enough to require sufficient support in holding up. Though I have completed the content several times already in my lifetime, I feel as if I am always learning something. Try the same with any other kind of literature. Try to watch that same documentary over and over. The experience turns sour, the content becomes stale. There is a kind of diminishing return with each indulgence. Since the Supreme Lord is Nava-Yauvanam, discourses about his transcendental glories, gunas, never grow old or tiring. At least not to me.
4. I'm following because I know it is good for me.
My dear son, this routine is good for me. I am trying to improve myself. In the manner that a person visits the gym every day or takes a walk outside at the exact same time in the morning, this connection through hearing is for my overall benefit. This connection will actually benefit every person. Since it is not tied to a specific reward, limited to a specific time or circumstance, the appeal is broad. I can read at any time. I will always be benefited. The same holds true for every person, since the subject matter, the Supreme Lord, is the greatest well-wishing friend.
5. I am following because it makes me happy.
My dear son, to be honest with you, there is only one real reason that I continue. This process makes me happy. If others make fun of me, that is fine. If they erroneously think I am in competition with them for advancing in spiritual life, I do not mind. I have no competitive angle. There is no desire for anything in the long term. This is my greatest treasure in life, and I will not give it up without a fight. I am in full agreement with the wives in Ayodhya who view even family life as a terrible burden if it is not connected with the husband of Sita.
जरु सो संपत्ति सदन सुखु सुहद मातु पितु भई सन्मुख होता जो राम पद करे न सहज सहाय.
Quote, the wealth, home, happiness, well-wishers, mother, father, and brother which do not help in turning one's face towards Sri Rama's lotus feet should burn. Dohavli, 139.
In closing, like in routine to proceed, every single day to read. First as recommendation took, then growing attachment to book, immense pleasure to feel, with renewing appeal. That Sita and Rama have found, to that allegiance bound.